You see my screen, no, everybody?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Visible,
Yes.
sir.
Yeah. See, what is my intention is yesterday I demonstrated these text documents through CNN, convolutional neural network. But hands-on session I could not complete it yesterday because I have taken a large problem, but that is not completed within the stipulated time. So what I do here, I want to demonstrate a illustrative example. I have taken some documents by manually, then I am have a labeling of this each document, then how we are going to perform the embedding of these documents and then followed by convolutional neural network. That is what my intention. Okay. So this is the complete process of convolutional neural network for NLP program. I have a documents followed by some labels. Then how to inbuild, how to build a model of convolutional neural network on this document. How do we validate this convolutional neural network after performing the fitting the model of the network. Okay. So this is what I am going to demonstrate this lecture. So everybody have your Google Colab. Just go to your Colab yesterday. So that is what I am going to share you here. Yeah, can you see my screen, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Yesterday also I demonstrated the same thing to you, and you what you do that just go to your collaboratory, just import all these libraries. You follow with me, then okay. You are not interested, then I will demonstrate and I will leave. Okay. So this is the libraries were required, NumPy, and so these are the Keras also required. Few models are required for performing the task. So once I implemented these libraries, imported libraries, what I do here, just I am going to take a definition of documents. See here, I'm writing one definition. So how I'm taking a definition here, simple definition, document, well done, good work, great effort, nice work, excellent, weak, poor effort, not good, poor work, could have done better. These are the sentences I have. These are the documents I have, and followed by I am going to write the some definition for these labels. Well done. I'm giving one label, one, good work, one, great effort, one, like that I'm going to give labels. Can you see my screen, everybody? This is the document followed by labels. This is my input of this convolutional neural network model. Okay. So once I have the document, then followed by labeling. So first I have do that preparation of tokenization. First I am going to prepare the tokenization of my document. How do we prepare that? Already we imported this tokenization Keras. Just we have to fit that model. So T is equals to tokenizer. Then I'm going to fit the documents. What are the documents I have? These are the documents I have. I'm going to fit into that model, right? So now vocabulary size, I'm writing vocabulary size is length of this tokenization of word index plus one. Because why I'm adding extra plus one is index is 0, then I'm going to add plus one. That is the benefit of the if indexing only, I'm adding this one. If you want to see your words, vocabulary size here, then you have to write the encoding of the documents. So now I'm encoding these documents. So text, so T is nothing but tokenizer. So now I'm transforming text to sequences. So text to sequences, then you have to encoded documents, you have to list out here. I encoded documents, I'm list out it here, 6 comma 2, 3 comma 2. These are the encoded documents have been represented, encoded in terms of integers. So once you are encoded your documents in terms of integer, then you do padding here. So now I'm going to write the matrix of length is 4. You can keep whatever you want. I will run the program also to you for benefit of that. So that libraries are imported successfully. Then I move to the definition of the documents, then followed by class labels. Then I'm representing a tokenizer. This is the tokenizer. Then I'm writing the encoding documents here, encoded documents. So here I am going to write the maximum length of your vector. So I'm representing in a matrix form. So maximum length I'm representing 4. Suppose you want to more than that, because I have only two words are only represented 6 comma 2. Remaining words are empty. Remaining cells are empty. That is the purpose only I am writing zeros here. So go to your original document here. The original document, first word is well done, only 2 words. Good work, 2 words. Great effort, 2 words. So finally, last word is could have done better. These are the 4 words. So that is the purpose only I am writing. This is the maximum length is 4. Suppose you are going to take a 10. So 10, you are going to write it as a 10 value. Then you can see the representation of this matrix. So this is the represent. So remaining all cell values cannot give significant values because empty. So representing that 0. So that purpose only I am going to reassign that 4. Matrix is 4. Last word vector represented 4 letters. So that significantly I am writing this way. Okay. This is the FAT document with maximum words. Okay. Then what I do here, I am going to take with the help of whole embedding words into memory. So in the embedding memory, what we do that we are going to take a global vectorization form. So in the global vectorization form, we have some text documents. Already I stored in my Google Drive. So you also I shared to Madam or Revati Madam. You can also take that link text documents here. So from that place you have to embed your whole words. Whatever you are defining your whole words, that is represented by global vector. From the global vector, we are going to write the embedding vectors here. So in the complete vectors are there 4 lakh word vectors are there in the embedded into memory. From that place, we are going to compare with our input vectors. Now I'm going to create a weight matrix of the word in the training process, right? So now embedding what matrix with 0 of vocabulary size. So what is your vocabulary size? Your vocabulary size is already you are defining each by one. So in the vocabulary size 100. Now I'm going to write the for loop for word in this T of word index items. This is tokenization of word index items. Then represent it is a word matrix. Then word vector. So I'm representing word matrix and word vector. Previously, word vector have only 1, 2, 3. So now I'm going to write the word vector into this form. See, you can print on this way. You can see embedded matrix here. So I could not perform. This task is not performed. That is the way I'm getting error. So once word vector is loaded, so now you need to write the length of the word index. Word vector is loaded, then write the successfully loaded. That is the 4 lakh word vectors are there. Now create a weight matrix of this word vector for the training purpose. So now already I created that embedded matrix. So now you can write the embedded matrix here. Embedded matrix. So now you can print that. This is your matrix. According to tokenization, this is your matrix, word matrix. So now this is the word matrix. You want to see your word embedded vector also. You can write down the vector, embedded word vector. Then you can also run the program. You can see this. This is your word vector according to this globalization vector. This is the global vector. From this global vector, we need to compare the input. So now our input is ready now. So once our input is ready, so that CNN model is, that means this one only. See here, up to, so whatever I did is only I have done this portion. So I have taken some words, some labels, then transformed into this form. Then I'm going to fit into this model into CNN. So that is my intention here, right? So once the CNN model, this word vector is completed, then now to define your CNN model, convolutional neural network. So for the purpose of definition of the convolutional neural network, so we need some libraries, TensorFlows. Sequentially, we are going to write the model one by one. So first layer, second layer, third layer, max pooling layer, dense layer, flattening layer. So yesterday we have gone through that complete model of the program, right? So purpose only I'm writing these libraries. So once you are initialized your libraries, then model is equals to sequence of sequential model. Now you are writing embedding. This is the word vector embedding. You are embedding your word vector. Previously you have generated a word vector embedding. What is the vocabulary size? You already initialized that before that. Vocabulary size 100. Weights. What are the weights we are taking here? Embedding matrix. Already you know what is embedded matrix in the place of that. So what is your input length of your vector? 4. Then trainable is false. You also keep a trainable true. Then complete vector may be trainable on that in this process. So next second layer is, this is the first layer, convolutional layer. So once your embedding is completed, embedding means this one, embedded layer is completed. So then this matrix is I want to generate. So once the embedded process is completed, this matrix is generated. Then that is feeding to the CNN model. So now you are doing a convolutional layer, one-dimensional layer. Now I am going to produce 128 filters on behalf of this one-dimensional vector. My kernel size is 4 and padding same and activation is ReLU. This is the non-linearity function. So you can also take 3 also. There is no issue. You can also take a 3 because my matrix is 4. That purpose when I'm taking kernel size is 4 by 4. Okay. So this is the max pooling of one-dimensional. Again, now pooling size is 2. Then flattening. Then dense layers. Then activation function. Final layer is sigmoid function to find the probability of how much we are calculating the input of the documents. Then run this model here. Once you are running this model, so successfully completed, then compile your model. So in the compiler model, I am using a optimizer is Adam optimizer, and the last function is a binary cross entropy. Then metric is an accuracy. So model is optimized. The model is compiling now with the help of some parameters. The parameters are optimizer. One optimizer is an Adam optimizer. Second one is a loss function. I want to calculate a loss of my model. So by using a binary cross entropy method, then I want to know the how much accurately detecting the purpose of the sequence, right? This is the matrix is an accuracy. Then print the model. You want to see your summarization of your model? You can have this model. You can see this. This is the model summarization. So in the model summarization, input is this. So this is the your input 1, 4,100. Parameters required 1500. So then for convolutional layer. So in the first layer, so total parameters are 5,13,100. So 51,000. Sorry, 51,328 parameters are there in the first layer. Then max pooling layer, flattening layer, then dense layer. Again, you have 65,000 layers approximately. So total parameters are 1,18,000 parameters you have. So totally trainable, non-trainable also I mentioned. Now after building the model, now you need to fit the model into your actual. So what are the part documents? This is our original documents. You have labels. Already you know what are the labels you have. 1010 labels are there. For I am going to write 50 Fox. Then you are writing the model. So just print that model. You want to see your model, then you can see this model. Okay. So this is a model fit is not okay. But that library is not imported here. I was forget the library. Okay, our model is not fitted. So once you are fitting the model, I will show the graph later to you. See, your model is successfully fitted. Then you need to evaluate your model. Then evaluate your model. So my model, whatever we derived the model is, this is the model. This model achieved 100% accurately. Accurately, it is detecting padding documents versus label. Model is inaccurate. This way, you need to develop a convolutional neural network for your documentation. You need kind of text documentation. I hope everybody understandable how I implemented a convolutional neural network for your documents. This is the documents. These are the documents. These are the documents. Any questions? Any questions, Adi? Audience, any questions from your end? Are you able to understandable how I implemented a convolutional neural network for the text documents?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Manisha. So I have taken only a few letters. From that letters, I have taken labeling, and then I implemented the convolutional layer, which is the one layer. So first what I did is I have taken some words, then followed by some class labels. Then I did a tokenization. Then I encoded the documents. Then I have taken a pad document of the sequence. Then the whole document is embedded into memory with the help of global vector. Then created a weight matrix with the help of trained documents. Then that embedded vector also I represented here. So then I have initialized the model sequentially. This is the embedded layer and the convolutional layer, max pooling layer and flattening and dense layer, then followed by the output of this model, right? Then after building the model, then I have taken a compiler, model compiler with the help of some optimizers, ORDAM optimizer and loss function and metrics, okay? So then I have fitted this model with the help of CNN dot fit and your model dot fit and padded documents and label and FOX are 50. That means a number of iterations are required here. Then finally, I evaluated my model with the help of model dot evaluated and versus padded documents versus label. So now I computed accuracy. So you can also compute what is the loss also, because I got accuracy is 100%. So no need to specify the loss also, right? 0. So this way you need to develop any kind of convolutional neural network for your documentation. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Any questions? Because I have a very little time and that purpose only I demonstrated these works. Yeah, any questions?
Mama. Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Sir, I want to ask, this document is in English language, okay?
Yes,
But sir, when we work on other documents like Arabic documents or Hindi Marathi, I think it's pre-processing something is different or we're going to add other package like that, sir?
Yeah, you can work. See, I have taken only words in terms of language, English language. You can take any kind of your own language.
It's work directly or we face it problems, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
If we take other language like Arabic language or Hindi,
Yeah,
we
you can take our language also. Tokenization will help you. Okay.
Okay, sir.
There is no
Okay,
issue.
sir.
Only translation. Translation is important. After translating, you can whatever you can language, your own native language also you can apply and you can perform the task.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions, other participants? Yeah, Vaishali madam, definitely I will share you my material and whatever I implemented here, you can also practice from your end. Okay, any clarifications required from my end, please raise your hands and discuss with me.
Yeah, anything you want to know regarding this, participants? Yeah. Okay, sir. Thank you so much, Madhu sir, for accepting our request to give this practical session again, a second time on this Atal FTP. Thank you so much once again, sir, for your valuable time to spend on this topic again. Thank you so much, Madhu sir. Dr. Muchi Madhu sir, thank you. And sir, one request, can you please switch on your camera, sir, to take a screenshot?
Sure, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you all. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you once again, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's about the session, how we are going to apply CNN models on the particular documents like text data. So that session was given by Dr. G. Madhu sir from VNR VJIT, Hyderabad. Now, we'll have the session on deep learning for machine translation. And this is a talk which is delivered by Dr. K. Satyababu sir, IIIT, Kurnool. A very good afternoon, Dr. K. Satyababu sir. We welcome you.
Good afternoon, madam.
Good afternoon, sir. We welcome you from Department of Information Technology, VNR VJIT, to this ATAL sponsored online 5-day FDP on exploring machine learning and deep learning techniques for natural language processing application. We welcome you once again, sir.
Thank you, madam.
Yes, sir. And participants, Dr. Satyababu sir is going to deliver the session on the topic deep learning for machine translation. We would love to hear this session by Satyababu sir. Before hand over the session to Satyababu sir, let me introduce Dr. Korra Satyababu sir to all the participants. Dr. Korra Satyababu sir, he's working as currently Associate Professor and Head of the Department Computer Science and Engineering, IIIT Kurnool. And Dr. Satyababu sir holds PhD degree in CSE department from NIT Roorkela. And his thesis is titled Utility-Based Privacy Preserving Data Publishing. And he holds MTech degree in CSE from National Institute of Technology, Roorkela. And this is titled Detection of Malicious Transactions in Database Management System. And he holds BTech degree from in CSE department in MVGR College of Engineering, Vizianagaram. And Dr. Satyababu sir interests are natural language processing, aerosol pollution, time series prediction, recommender system, privacy issues in location-based system, sentiment and emotional analysis, and big data issues. Sir is also guided already 5 PhD scholars, and 5 more scholars are doing research under the guidance of Dr. K. Satyababu sir. Sir has having a various projects that are sponsored by different agencies. Like he's having a project, an AI-driven auto-responder for live class questions, worthy of 6 lakhs, around 7 lakhs, by Brains Education Solution Private Limited, India. And his role is principal investigator. And also sir has a project titled Automatic Diagnosis of Major Depressive Disorder from Social Media Text. And his role is also principal investigator. And the sponsor for this project is Origin Solutions. And also having another project in his hand, that is in-house short-term training under ICPS program of DST, worth of 9 lakhs. And also sir act as a principal investigator, and also having one more project, intelligent surveillance data retrieval for smart city applications, worth around 3 crores. And the sponsor is Imprint India, Department of Science and Technology. And sir role in this project is co-investigator. And sir also received so many grants like Python programming with industry perspective with a worth of 88,000, and FDP for deep learning and its application worth of 92,000, sponsored by ICT Academy, New Delhi, and also received grant for FDP for Introduction to Programming worth of 88,000, and the sponsor also EICT Academy, Jaipur. And Dr. K. Satyababu sir is having professional teaching experience not only in IIIT Kurnool, and also sir has worked as assistant professor in CSE department NIT Roorkela, and also worked as assistant professor in CSE department Vignan Institute of Information Technology, Visakhapatnam, and also worked as adjunct professor in School of Electrical Sciences, Indian Institute of Technology, Bhubaneswar. sir is also having a professional memberships in various agencies like Cryptology Research Society of India, ISTE, Institute of Engineering, International Association of Computer Science and Information Technology, and CSI. And Dr. K. Satyababu sir has various publications in international journals and conferences. He has 16 publications in journal and 35 papers are published in international conferences. And sir also has 4 book chapters. So with this long list of achievements and glory, I would like to call upon Dr. K. Satyababu sir to take over the session on deep learning for machine translation. Once again, we welcome you, sir, to this Atal FDP. I request you to take over the session and continue with your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, madam, for such a warm words about myself.
Yes,
Thank
sir,
you very much.
Thank
Yeah.
you, sir.
Uh,
And sir, we request you to switch on your camera to take a snapshot
I think we can do it at the last.
at the end. Okay, sir.
Okay,
Sure,
okay.
sir. Yeah.
Fine.
Thank you, sir.
Fine, madam. Mine is not photogenic, so no problem. You can do it morphing from my photos also, which is given there. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. See, I should first of all, I should I should ask a pardon for this whole faculty members who are attending this one. The reason here is that, like, I was unable to prepare my slides completely. So that's why, and moreover, the preparation of the slide, the machine where I was doing it has some problem, and it has crashed. And now that's why what I planned is that at least I should not waste this. So that's why I did not deny, and I agreed for this one to take it. Otherwise, morning only I had my schedule was a little bit busy, and just 10 minutes back when I came and just checked also. The system was not yet rectified. So that's why what I am doing here is that today I'll give a lecture in writing. Okay, is it visible? Is my slide visible to you, all of you?
Yes, sir. Visible, sir. You're
Yes,
sharing
yes.
your PPT.
Yeah. What I am going to do here is that simply I'll be writing out. I will be discussing mostly with the audience. I will be discussing about various aspects of this machine translation and what are the latest deep learning strategies or techniques that are being used for this machine translation, basically. Anybody has already covered this BERT transformers? In this, just I wanted to know, like, to the audience, I'm asking, like, anybody has already covered transformers here till now?
No, sir.
I think not it, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Transformer is not yet covered here. Okay, so fine. So then I will mostly concentrate on transformers basically here, okay, in today's lecture, because it is the state of art technique, and then almost you will be using it throughout your research. I believe that most of them here available are teachers, and then these teachers basically will use, because nowadays state of art techniques in deep learning, if you take into consideration, like maybe like this evolving of CNN and all has been very much this computer vision community has gained a lot, or has got a lot of applications from this convolution neural networks and all. Similarly, the language community basically, or the NLP, speech and language basically communities, they developed like from 2013 onwards. These people also has got a very good advantage because of the evaluation of different modeling techniques and the neural, like sequence to sequence techniques, and then like later down the line in 16, 17, 18 and all, evaluation of these transformers, and then these application, like because of the parallel computing of these transformers, how the evaluation takes place. So before this one, just I need to give you some glimpse, okay, some glimpse about the earlier history of this machine translation. So how this machine translation took place, okay, or take place. I hope this is visible and everybody, it is this, my writing also is not so bad for this one, right? But I'm using a device which is of low calibration, because immediately I have to set up this one. Okay, fine. Anyway, I will do it that one. I will try to cover this transformers completely up to 115 today. Okay, so basically what we do in machine translation task is that we are having some sentence, like we are having a sentence X, which we can tell that I am a boy. I am a boy, for example. Okay, and we need this one to be converted to some sentence Y. Assume that this is English. Okay, this sentence is in English, and then we want this one to be converted to Telugu, for example. Most of the participants here are Telugu or Hindi and English, Hindi and any other languages are there? Can I get some quick responses?
Hindi.
Telugu?
Hindi.
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 Okay, okay. Hindi, if Hindi may be
Both
there,
Telugu.
like
Right.
majority I believe it will be Telugu and Hindi combined together. Okay, that's fine. So if we take it in Telugu, maybe like we can make it at Nenu oka baludni, baludu leda baludni. Okay, we can give this one. Or if we make it in Hindi, as the target language, okay, Y1, Y2 I am making it here because Y is the target language for me. मैं, okay, मैं एक लड़का हूँ. Okay, okay, लड़का हूँ. So now here, what we try to do here is that, see, we are having a source language and to be converted into either English into Telugu, or it should be converted into Hindi. So how this was being done? So if you see this evaluation and all, we are not mostly interested about the evaluation part, why this machine translation has come into picture, and then the reason behind that one. Like the main reason is that we wanted to decode the Russian messages by to English actually. So it was during the Cold War season that this has taken place. So our interest is not more on that one, but like how this used to be done. So first, if you take into consideration, we are having statistical machine translation and neural machine translation. Okay, so this machine translation, you can take it as statistical machine translation and neural machine translation, NMT, SMT. So what is this statistical machine translation? Okay, how did it work basically? So here in statistical machine translation, the main idea is to get some probabilistic model from the data basically. So for example, if we wanted to translate a sentence from Telugu to English, then so as far as we want, so we find the best English sentence which is in Y. Or suppose we wanted to convert an English sentence to Y, to Telugu. So we wanted to, I am a boy. So here, Nenu oka baludni, or like I can give it like Nenu baludu. Okay, Nenu, then I can give it Nenu, or baludu Nenu. Baludni Nenu, like Baludu Nenu, something we give it like this. Okay, these are the sentences. Out of this existing, many sentences are there. Nenu, or like Nenu Baludni, Nenu Baludu, Nenu Oka Baludu, like these different sentences are there. Oka Baludni Nenu, like these sentences. Out of this one, which one fits best to this? I am a boy in English. This is what is we want. So the core idea here is to, in this statistical machine translation, is to learn or give a probabilistic model for the data, and then we try to choose which is the best sentence out of the existing sentences. So here, if you see, the equation comes here like this. Like you have the argmax function. You have the argmax function for the target language, and you wanted to predict like a P of probability of Y given X. So given this X language, X is in English, and I wanted to convert it into Y. Okay, translate into Y. What is the probability of a particular sentence, Y sentence? Okay, sentence given in Y given X, a sentence in English. So this is what we are interested in. So we generally use this one. This one can be converted maybe like with respect to the Bayes theorem. What we do, probability of this one can be simply given as argmax, okay, argmax y, probability of X given Y into probability of Y, we can give it like this using some Bayes theorem. So now this one basically we call it as a language model. Which one? Probability of Y is the language model. So it is pertaining to that particular language. Okay, modeling of that particular language. And then this is mostly with respect to the translation model. Okay, this is with respect to the translation model. So here, how various things comes into picture. How this argmax computation should be done, how this P of X given Y should be done, how this P of Y should be done. So here now what we do it like given like a translation model. If this translation model is given like this, so how do we compute this translation model? Okay, for this one, we need large amount of the parallel data basically. Suppose we are having, suppose in English for I, okay, I am a boy, like this. I give a list of sentence completely, one complete paragraph for example, and the same thing is given here in Telugu. Okay, same content is given here in Telugu by some language experts, okay, who can convert manually. That has been done. Suppose we give it like this. This is what we call it as a parallel corpus. Okay, this parallel corpus, what we need to do is that, so based on given this and this, now you have to this one basically you have to match with this one and this one, right? Because it is given here. Now out of the given sentences, okay, out of these given sentences, our interest to learn this particular translation model, if you wanted to take it from the parallel corpus, we break down the translation, this equation P of X given Y, we can break this one still further into probability of X, and also we need to take into consideration the alignment given Y. X, we wanted to probability of X comma a particular alignment for Y. So why I tell you, like suppose I tell you that like I am a boy, okay, I am here, okay. Suppose the sentence I can give it like this. Nenu ikkada unnanu. For example, we are making like this. Nenu ikkada unnanu. Okay. Or main idhar hu. Okay. In Telugu, in Hindi, if we give it, main idhar hu. So this is like, this is okay. I, okay, fine. If you see, means existing tense. If you see this one, this is there and this here comes here. See this alignment. This is words alignment, right? Main idhar hu. Main idhar hu. Again, if you make it main idhar hu also, this one comes in between. Here comes in between, and hu comes between. Like the existence comes here, or the verb part comes here. Okay, at the last here. So this alignment given a sentence, and the alignment also X and this alignment also, what is the probability of, or like here in this case given for this one, what would be the best of Y for this language X and with this particular alignment A. So this is like if we go with respect to, it may go with respect to word level or sentence level also. Okay, now so we try to compute this basically. We compute probability of X comma A given Y as a combination of many factors. It may be like, see, like the probability of a particular word aligning, like what is the dependency and the position, and the probability of a particular word having some combinations with different words, okay, with the different words like that. So our interest is basically in computing this argmax, how to compute this argmax, and how to find out this probability of X given Y, which is the translation model, and probability of Y, which is the language model. To compute the argmax, one could enumerate every possible situation of Y. Okay, for this computing of argmax, we can try to find out every possible computation of Y, but it is very, very huge. What are the possibilities there? Like I am giving here, I am here. So what will be the nenu ikkada unnanu, ikkade unnanu nenu. So different combinations, nenu ikkada unnanu or ikkade unnanu nenu ikkada. See, like this, different combinations it can have it like this, right? So it may be expensive, and out of that one, finding out is little bit difficult task. So one can use some heuristic algorithms to search the best translation by discarding some using some hypothesis, and maybe which are having low probability and all, we can remove that one, eradicate that one. So this process, generally what we can say is like the process of decoding. Okay, so you can we can have it. Okay, we can have it this one, like the evaluation has taken place. So our target here is that like argmax Y, probability of X given Y into probability of Y. This is basically our target. Now can we use this one for the can we use this one? So as we said that one, this argmax computing for Y is very, very difficult, right? That's why the language like a translation process has been stalled in many to a greater extent in from maybe like 1950s to you take it up to maybe like 2000s, it has been stalled. The work of this one is being completely stalled. So how then we try to do this one? So what we try to do here is like, I have in neural machine translation. Now suppose we go with the neural machine translation, NMT. I call this one as NMT. And this neural machine translation, with a single neural network, we will be able to translate it. So given a language, okay, so given a language here, okay, one language is given L1, okay, and I encode this part, I encode all this part, and then probably we try to get some vectors. Okay, this is a vector, for example, I encode, and then I use another neural network probably, and then this is used for encoding, and this is used for decoding, and I try to derive language 2. So if this is X, source language, this is Y, which is the target language. Okay, here just please please try to understand that one. My drawing and things are, and the calibration device that I'm using is not so perfect. That's why please make sure that this a language is given, which is, we call it as language 1 or X language, or maybe a target language. This target language has to be encoded and put that one in form of vector. Okay, vectors, and then this vectors is basically decoded, and then this is being decoded and taken into some other target language. Now what we should do it, this basically this concept of neural network, you can say as sequence to sequence. Okay, sequence to sequence network, sequence to sequence networks. Now, so what we try to give it, given something like a language, suppose I give it a neural network here, RNN. So basic, the first neural network, sequence to sequence neural network is like I can give the basic one is RNN, which we call it as a recurrent neural network. Okay, this one, how we can try to do? So you have a encoder RNN and decoder RNN. So suppose I give it this is the encoder RNN. Okay, so this is, I encode this one, 1 2 okay 3, I am here. Okay, I am here, for example, I give it like this. This is the inputs, and then I give it, okay, to an RNN, okay, with the nodes here, for example, I give it like this. Okay, and this basically, this is encoded at the end, like when we put up all the data of this one, the end of the sentences, this is encoded, this is taken, okay, this is taken, and then you have a decoding RNN which says like maybe like this is the one given a start, okay, start of the sentence, the output means this is the input, okay, this decoded RNN, okay, you give it, then here you try to give it maybe like I am here. So this particular nenu, okay, in Telugu nenu. So this nenu, and then you give also the output of this one, and then this as an input you give it here, nenu, okay, nenu. So sequence after nenu, what should come? Probably like the best sentence maybe ikkada, okay, ikkada. Then this as given as input to ikkada, okay, ikkada, and then you are having a neural network like one more, this input rolled RNN here, okay, this one, like given ikkada, what should be the output? Unnanu, probably. And then given this unnanu, okay, this is this one, and then given this unnanu to this one, maybe like this is like unnanu, okay, unnanu, then the output should be the end, okay, end of sentences. So this is end of the sentence, like or end, stop or something, it can come here. So encoder RNN, basically this one, encoder RNN produces an encoding of the source language, and decoder RNN basically is a language model that generates target sentences, okay, it try to get this target sentences for this encoded sentence, okay, for this encoded vector basically. So this is when we saw, like we can tell this one like an initial this time behavior of like how it gets like from the first output of the neural network, second output, third output, fourth output, fifth output, like this. Okay, so we need to use two separate word embeddings for basically for this one separate word embedding and for this one separate word embeddings, based on which language you are using. Okay, based on what type of language that we are using, we have to use it. So this, if you say this one, this was the basis, this stood as the basis actually. So sequence to sequence, this neural network, recurrent neural network, stood as very basis for many of the sequence problems. So maybe like for the dialogue based system or like a code generation, okay, like this, like a given, for example, I give a Python program, okay, Python program, can I generate a corresponding Java program, or maybe like if I give basic level is like if I just tell that write a code in Python for generating 10 sequence numbers, okay, from 0 to 1, if I give it in a natural language, will it be able to generate a Python code? Okay, all these are the applications of this sequence network, which is basic like a recurrent neural networks. Also maybe like a dialogue based system, if I speak what you have to speak, what the system should speak, like this. Now see, sometimes you may have some IVRS system, many of these systems are already automated. You go to like sites, big sites or big companies, like you take it Amazon or many other companies, Microsoft, or maybe, do you think that you call and you get a customer care immediately? Getting that one is a very difficult thing, right? What we try to do is that they'll model the thing, the automation, they automate the software and keep it, and with some dialogues, okay, dialogues. So maybe like with some understood or intelligent predefined dialogues, like if you know, hi, so it also gives you the reply as hi, okay, right. Then afterwards you will ask that hi, and then along with that one it will deviate, it will direct you what you should ask or what you are asking about. Please kindly suggest on which how could I help you, or something like this. So maybe like it can, based on the keyword that you search, whether that keyword belongs to which particular wing or which particular problem, that particular set of sentences it will pull out, and then it will ask you further questions. So this is like conventionally like a dialogue based system, how it functions, right? So right, based on, but this one also is a sequence. Again, you are using the sequence to sequence network, because this one, see, if you put a question here, or simply this dialogue based system or question answering system, so let us take it this one. So you have a question, then some answer is given by the system, answer to the question. So it means that this answer depends on this question. What is the type of question and what question that you are asking, right? This one. So what we try to do here is that, like here the answer needs to be depend. So here it means that there is a timing problem. It means to say there is a sequencing problem. So this is a sequencing problem. After the question, based on this question, the answer should be given, right? So this here also has an application of this sequence to sequence model. So now, so the language model, because the decoder is predicting, so you see here the decoder, basically the decoder part, all this one, it is predicting the next word of the target sentence Y, right? So mainly due to this one, we call it as which word you should have. So either for this one, in statistical, what you used to do, you may use it maybe like a conventional statistical models, like you given a word, okay, given a word, for example, I. So what should be, okay, what should be the probable words, and between this and this, I am here, for example, what should be this hidden word. So for this one, sometimes you may use it like hidden Markov models. Earlier, okay, earlier you can use that one. Now in neural machine translation, how you try to do it, this one. So I am writing at the bottom here, if you see here, so probability of, okay, probability of Y given X. So how do you get it, this one? So this is like probability of Y1, maybe the first word, okay, given X, and into probability of Y2 given Y1 and X, right? And probability into probability of Y3 given Y2, Y1, Y2, Y1, and then X. So like this it continues. Probability of, so it continues, and then up to, you can give it probability of YT target given YT minus 1 up to 1, Y1, okay, Y1 and X. So this is what you are supposed to get it. This is the sequence. This is what the same that you will be doing it with respect to a conventional language model, and you use their HMM, and maybe like after doing that one, maybe like based on the highest probability and all, you try to search which one, okay, which particular word is suitable, and maybe like you use some decoding techniques like Viterbi and all, Viterbi decoding technique and all, okay, Viterbi, Viterbi. So this some decoding techniques and all, you may use it here. But here now, in neural machine translation, we directly calculate probability of Y given X. Now how do we train basically this one? Okay, how do we train this one? Now anyway, whatever may be, like we are having this like sequence model RNN. But this RNN, before this RNN, we used the statistical models and all, okay, the statistical models and all. If you see in 2013, okay, so how do we do it? How do we to enter into transformer? We need some basics about that one. Let us try to discuss. See, I am not discussing in this particular lecture because the lack of my device constraints, and then like slides are not put up here. So due to that one, I am not discussing about the mathematics of this neural network. It is very much available. It is available everywhere, and just you go into internet and then search about this one also. All those things you are going to get it very nicely. Okay, very good detailed data is there. But what I wanted to show you here is that how this modeling is being done, or the basic structures, how the architecture is being designed. What is the deep learning models that are used for this translation activities? Okay, so this is my like a main focus of this one. So if you see in 2013, like 2013, we have like this word to vec, word embedding techniques basically. Okay, word to vec was implemented for this neural network using the idea that neural network should learn similarities between words based on word distribution. See what I use, why you see why this is being done is like this word embedding techniques, you know, like word to vec or glow, you know that different word embedding techniques and all. So suppose in a two-dimensional, if I try to give like a Python, okay, suppose see based on the distribution of the words, if the distribution of the words are placed in a two-dimensional way, the closeness or the similarity should occur. Suppose I give it here, suppose this is the existence of Python. So Python, so maybe like the difference between Python and maybe like the R programming, or okay, this is R programming, for example, R example, this is Java, okay, and this is maybe like here comes C++, and here comes C, for example. Okay, this is the like how closeness between this language and this language. Similarly, in the word distribution, if you see here, what happens is that here Python can be also a snake. So the snakes, so snake family also come into picture here, maybe like the closeness of this Python, how far it is. So but here this Python, and then you take a cobra. Okay, suppose a cobra is given plotted in a two-dimensional here like this. Now what happens is that the distance between Java and what Python you are speaking about, whether it is a Python programming language or whether you are speaking about the Python snake, or maybe like you go it as anaconda, okay, or some another crates. Okay, so what is the relation, how the distance between this particular vector and this particular things? So this is, so you are designing a vector for Python. So it means that how in word embeddings, basically what you do, you divide a vector, okay, you divide a vector v such that this vector decides how much it is close to cobra, to animals, wild animals, or for domestic animals, or programming languages, or as such. Okay, depending upon this one, this vector. The thing is that, but only for Python we are having only one vector, this one. So this was how it is being done. Now like, but the problem here is that it also used with cobra, anaconda, crates, or any other things, and we cannot disambiguate word contextually when we use this word to vec method basically. So now, so that's why after that one only, in maybe like 2014 and 15 basically, 2014 2015 like that, so the rising popularity of RNN was there. RNN was given, and then RNN was discovered earlier only, okay, invented earlier only, this particular technique, modeling technique, but it gained popularity in 2014 and 15 like that, after 14-15 like that, to mark problem solving for this sequence to sequence problems mostly. Okay, this one. So if you can take it like so reaching the sequence to the end, maybe like given a sequence here, okay, sequence I am a boy, so this is one vector, am a boy, or I am here, I am a boy. So the thing is that the same neural network block, this RNN block, is applied to I am a boy. So at reaching the end, the module has ideally learned one single vector. Okay, you have one single vector which says that like what does this I stand for, am stand for, a stand for, and boy stand for? It means that even multiple times, suppose boy, I am a boy. Suppose it is given, it should not happen like that. Okay, boy, I am a boy. Suppose this sentence is given here. For boy, there will be only one vector representing like the boy or as such. So you do not have multiple vectors for this boy as such. So that's why reaching the sequence like at the end, the module has ideally learned one single vector that captures the meaning of the whole sentences here. So from this single vector, one can start to translate by reverting the process of decoding. Now that's why I said use that, like earlier we have a network. Okay, we have a network, and then the another network, like we call this one as a single this one is encoder and decoder network, right? So but the problem is it works well for short sentences and all, it is fine, because see, if you take a long sentence, okay, maybe like suppose I give a sentence like this, like I was a when I was a boy of your age, or young, when I was a boy, young boy, or when I was a young boy, I used to run 20 kilometers daily after to digest my breakfast, which consists of 20 eggs, 20 loaves, and 20 breads, like that. So here it is coming like I and all different times it is coming here. Now the problem here is that for a long sentence of multiple words same time occurring, you have a single vector, right? You have a single vector, you cannot remember. Like the problem here is that co-reference resolution, dependency preservation, all these things were suffering in this this one. So when the RNN block reaches at the end of the sentence here, okay, at the end of the sentence here, now in this sequence it considers new inputs. Maybe like suppose I am as I told you that like when I was boy, I am, for example, boy, I am a boy, I'm giving it. So this boy, after reaching at the end of the sentence again here, this boy has got a new dimension here. Okay, new dimension or a new vector. So it learns this boy is taken as a new input now for co-reference or dependencies, etc., and forgets the beginning of the sentence what we had earlier, what boy was representing earlier. Okay, all these were there, and then all these things, so it forgets basically. So in maybe like in 1516, almost in 1516 or something like by that time ending only like 1516, by that time in 2015 16 and all, what happens is that of course another problem is that they are recurrent in nature, but the sentences are produced sequentially, word by word, and like generally how the humans generally like speech, like how we produce the speech, like a word by word or sentence by sentence, but for a machine it needs lot of time to process from this huge corpora, right? That's why what happens is that this forgetful nature, this one, in order to overcome this one, in 2015-16 and all, we have got long short term memory, LSTM neural networks or LSTM RNNs came into picture. Okay, so it means that the concept of what to forget, what to see, like what to forget and what not to forget, so what to remember, that things also came into picture. So that's why like that is the time when like you got the paper also, there was an article, attention is all you need. Attention, this is a very good paper, you read this one. If you read this one, almost all the transformer concepts also will be clear for you. Attention is all you need. This one, as the paper says, if RNNs and attentions are so slow because of this sequential processing of the recurrent neural networks, so it is like it is very slow here, using like you use RNNs, or maybe like you use This attention techniques also added with for this, but still it was slow. So this was the time, like the need for some parallel processing, or maybe like there was a device constraints also, but more of the computational power increasing and all. So we get parallelism, okay, parallelism in computing and all. So what we can say is that this was the time when transformers came into picture. This transformers, if you see, it is nothing but this paper. If you read this one, attention is all you need. Okay, all you need. This attention is all you need. If you read this paper, you will be clear cut about this transformers. See, basically now the transformers. What is this one? Transformer. So transformer, like any other recurrent neural networks, this handle the sequence data basically, but not in a particular order. See, this is the good thing of this one. Not in a particular. It means that it can train much faster with parallelism. Now what happens this one? Earlier what we did it, if you see here, conventional recurrent neural networks, either with attention or without attention or with LSTM, if you do it, I arm here, if you do it, this one I, then after I arm, the same RNN block, then the same RNN block is used. But here in transformer, things are a little bit different. The transformer use, it means like parallelly. So this one to be processed, this one to be processed, this one to be processed. It is not like this. Suppose, see, like suppose you get a word embeddings. Okay, word embeddings. Now I arm here, for example, you have the word embedding. These are the vectors. What you do is that this vector also you pass it, this vector also you pass it, this vector also pass it, and then you give to the attention model. You feed it to the attention model or self-attention model. This is you see. So due to this one, what is happening is that like the parallelism is attained in this transformers. So if you see that like these transformers also, the application it has even for sequential data, but parallelism is introduced here. Due to parallelism, you know that if like 1% does this one work for this many days, maybe like if 10% does, then it will be done earlier. Fast computation is there. So due to this one, the transformer also has gained popularity due to its application in almost all the fields, like machine translation or some classification activities, or sentiment, basically sentiment classification, co-reference resolution, and you can see many like this transformer advances even in, if you see in Hugging Face, okay, transformer.huggingface.co, and all, if you see this one, there is huge number of models, transformer models, different transformer models are available, where you can get it so many, and how it functions, that one. So if you see, even in 2018, okay, 2018, you can say that researchers came up with bidirectional function of the transformer and used that one. We call it as BERT, B-E-R-T. What is this one, if you remember here? Okay, so it is why the reason for this one, bidirectional encoder representation for transformers, this bidirectional encoder representation for transformers. So bidirectional here, you mean to say that it can allow information to forward flow and backward when the model is being trained. So this basically results in a better, see, suppose I am giving it here, Sita and Rita was here. Sita and Rita were, okay, were here. Suppose I give it this one. Rita played football. Sita played basketball. No, full stop. Now she was good at kicking. Now, whom should we refer to she, this one, whether it is Rita or Sita? So when we are doing forward and backward, so she was good at kicking. Um, she kicked, she made goals or something like that. If some sentences are there like that, she made goals. Now again, who should she? Now this she 10 times if you are writing she, whether we have to refer this one to Sita or Rita, this one. That's why when we are going forward and backward, okay, bidirectional encoder representation transformer, backward and forward, when we are going, then only we can understand. Maybe like one point of time she represents something, and in some other point of time she represents something, right? This is the thing. So that's why we, and many advances also came to BERT, and there are many versions of BERT that has been evolved over the time. So like you can say that like this word to vector earlier in 2013, this which was given like the word embedding technique, but also maps similar words very closely. But is context sensitive, and then this word to vec is not at all context sensitive. This means that a different word is computed for a word if it is encountered in the different context, right? The same thing. So here she, the same word, another time she was good at kicking, or she was good at like this placing the ball, passing the ball, for example, passing the ball. Now she should represent Rita or Sita. See, passing the ball is common almost for both this football and then basketball. But since see Sita came here immediately, so you are giving a pronoun for this Sita. So she here represents a Sita here. Now Rita, you are speaking about Rita something. Rita kicks very strongly. She, if you give it a she here, now she should represent to Rita, right? See, she here the in word to vector, if the same sentence is given, the she, okay, she, if you are given here, you have in word to vec or other word embedding techniques only one vector. But here in BERT, you will have different vector for different contexts for she. So in this case, word to vec, it would give a single vector, but would give different vectors, okay, depending upon the context. So in 2019, again, researchers developed many advanced versions of this BERT. You call this one as Robert, okay, Rhine, ExcelNet, maybe like Wilbert, Visual BERT, different in even in the computer vision domains and all. Then also came like a GPT-2, then like a Common BERT, like this. Many advances of this BERT have come into picture. So now let us try to understand basically what is this transformer and what is this transformer architecture. Okay, if you see this transformer architecture, you give it like this. So conventional RNN, what it does, like I am here, okay, if you see the transformer architecture here, I am here. So I am here, it is given. So the same RNN block, okay, is this I is passed to this same RNN block, same RNN block only, it is passed again and again like this, it is passed, right? Here once, but at any given point of time, only one input is being passed to this RNN block. And then this RNN block, you are having, this is the encoder RNN block, then you will have a decoder RNN block, and from this you are going to get the output, maybe like Nenu, like this, okay, whatever, maybe you are going to get it. Whereas transformer, if you see this one, Okay, what you I am here. Okay, I am here. Suppose we give it I am here like this. Now this whole sequence is taken at a time. It is taken and it is given to the attention mechanism here. Transformer encoder, for example, what transformer encoder comes, we will see that what is there in. So this transformer encoder, TE I am giving it, transformer or encoder. Then it goes with some computations, and then you have the transformer decoder. From this transformer decoder, maybe like again some more layers is there, like softmax or something is there, and then you are going to get the output here as nenu ikkada, okay, unnanu. Right, this is so the RNN process the text sequentially word after word, and they produce a vector from all sequence, hoping to capture the meaning of the whole sentence, right? But transformer process whole sequence at once, giving parallelism, right, giving parallelism. So if you see the transformer architecture, what is there in this particular encoder? Okay, and not only it may have stacked encoders. You can assume that there is the transformer encoder 1, transformer encoder 2, transformer encoder 3, like this. Okay, and similarly here you can having encoders and decoders, it can be stacked. Okay, these encoders now like this. So transformer architecture is actually a stack of encoders, this one, in various layers. So stacking the encoders enable us to process the sequence not only once but also a couple of times. Why? The reason is the context should not be avoided, or any important feature property of that particular language should not be missed in order to gather all the features. That's why multiple encoder layers are given here. So the idea behind stacking is to be able to capture raw properties of the sentence basically first, and moving to more elaborated properties one by one like that. So it has been shown that the layers of transformer architecture are mostly like in the literature, if you have seen this one, many like NLP pipelines, in the NLP pipelines, whatever, see like the stages, various stages of NLP. If you see this one, like we are trying to do some like layers focusing on initially like a POS tagging, then like the constituents, finding out the constituents, like what are the combinations, then dependencies, then some semantic roles, and then maybe like co-references, like that. Many are different layers, different things are handled here. Okay, now so if you see a transformer layer, so all encoder layers, this particular one layer, you take it one transformer layer here. Okay, one transformer layer. So what does this transformer layer comprise of? The encoder. Okay, transformer encoder, what does it comprise of? So all encoder layers are built of the same kind of blocks. Okay, basically the self attention layer that processes the input and then transmits, and then also like you have a feed forward neural network here. Okay, so you have a self attention layer here again. Okay, this is a self attention layer, self attention, and then you have feed forward neural network. So this you can call it as an encoder. So you give it like I am here. Okay, I am here. If you are giving it I am here, suppose you are having this different vectors, I am here, this one you give directly to this self attention, and this self attention tries to find out what to forget and what to remember. This self attention mechanism says this one, and then it passes here to the feed forward neural network like this. After we process the input through a couple of these encoder layers, okay, maybe like after giving this one and all, it gives like this. Okay, maybe like you can stack. I told you about the different this is another encoder which comprises of again self attention, and then another one is the feed forward you are also having. So after we process input through a couple of these encoder layers, we are ready to construct a sequence input now that passes through the decoder, right? Afterwards you pass this one to a decoder. Okay, what does this decoder has got? So this decoder has got something else. We'll see what is available. Okay, so for the decoder we have the same two blocks like that of a self attention here, like we are having a self attention and feed forward neural network, but another additional component. So if you give it here, okay, if you give it here, this is the decoder. I'm writing in a bigger way like this. So you have, this is, assume that this is self attention SA I am giving it for self attention layer. Here you are trying to have it, and then you have something else that we call encoder decoder attention. Okay, this is another one, another attention layer is there. This is, what is this one? Encoder decoder attention, EDA, for example, encoder decoder attention we are having. Then at last again we are having another layer which is the feed forward neural network again. So if you see the working, okay, if you see the working, suppose I give it here, I am a boy, I am here, for example. We'll take a shorter example. Okay, I am here. So this vectors, you are generating the vectors here. Okay, you are generating the vectors here. Okay, using some word embedding techniques and all. Okay, of our choice, whatever may be. And then you have a encoder here. Okay, encoder which has got the attention mechanism here. So attention layer, and then feed forward neural network layer you are having here. Okay, so this attention computes scores for each word vector, basically this attention layer. Okay, because why how do it remember certain or pays attention on something? Maybe like something need to be remembered, better score it has to be given. The vector for that particular context, more of the value score has to be given. This is the attention. Okay, this is the attention layer. Okay, attention layer. This is the feed forward neural network. Then like this you can say that, okay, you can say that you are having lot many encoders, maybe like many encoders you may have it. Okay, you can have it like this, many encoders, encoder 1, encoder 2, encoder 3, like that. Then at last you are going to pass it to the decoder. This is the decoder. This is encoder 1, encoder 2, and encoder 3, like this you are having. And each encoder, please remember that there is an attention layer and feed forward neural network. Okay, after each of this one, the vector, you can see this one like attention layer. After completing, this vector is passed through this attention layer, so it modifies the score accordingly, and then it gives a vector again. The output is a vector. This vector is basically passed to this feed forward neural network, and this feed forward neural network afterwards again it passes some vectors. It gives vectors here. Okay, it gives the vectors here. So this one parallelly it can be done. So this parallelization speeds up the training considerably. That is why transformer can be mostly trained relatively very quickly compared to even if very huge data is there, compared to the conventional RNN or LSTM or any other techniques and all. But now the question may arise here, how about the word order? Word order. See, you give it here, I am here. Nenu ikkada unnanu. Nenu ikkada unnanu. Ikkada unnanu is here. Nenu unnanu ikkada. If you give it like this, that is the okay correct order. But the order may differ. So in order to keep up that order, we have few positional encodings. So that's why what we try to do is that we give, so initially when we are giving here the input before giving to the attention layer, what we try to give you here is that we have positional encoding layer. So this one plus this vector plus this vector. Okay, this vector plus this vector combined together, combine it and then pass it to the attention layer. Similarly, this plus this, okay, combine together, this plus this combine together, and then only you pass it on to the attention layers. So the output of each layer, if you take it in the beginning, is added to the output of the next sub layers, right? This one, this one, this takes. So if you take it this one, okay, the output, now you take it, this one, for example, you are taking into consideration only this, okay, this one, this one and this one you are making it, and this, the output of each layer, attention layer, for example, this is the vector here, okay, given. Let me draw here. My drawing, as I told you, please forgive me, I am not so good in this one, and then I'm also having some calibration problem with my pad, okay. So if you're, suppose this is the encoder and then this is the attention, so now you get this, right, this vector, and this vector. What you need to do is that this one, basically this one, okay, I am representing this one only here, okay, this one only here. So this one, at the end of this one, each layer you have to add this to this, okay, this to this particular layers, this one, and this one accordingly. So if you add again that added one, so plus this, so you are making a, adding this one, okay, this is this one, so adding this one, then that you are passing to the feed forward neural network, due to this one. See, by adding this positional encoder or positional this encoding vector to the input vector, so they have a unique ID corresponding to a position of the particular sentence, right? Now due to this one, if you are adding this one, the output, what you are going to get it, if you take it, the suppose like you are having similarly for all the outputs here, okay, encoders here, the same function here, same like this here on the corresponding things I am giving here. Now the decoder part, if you take it, the decoder part here, what happens, okay, what happens here? Now in the decoder section, okay, this is the decoder section. If you see here how it gets computed here, I told you about three things, okay, three different things are here in this decoder section, okay. You have got self attention, then you have encoder, decoder, attention, right? Encoder, decoder, attention, this is self attention, then encoder, decoder, attention, and then feed forward neural network. This is the output of this one, okay, this one, basically after feed forward neural network, this is given to a softmax function, softmax layer, we call this one. So the decoder process vector, this one, okay, like encoder also compute the attention between the decoder's vector and the output of the first encoder. Now see, what we have to do is that encoder first results, okay, this one need to be given here, okay, here, this one to this EDA. So this is what does it this decoder, this self attention, you are going to get the vector, okay, this vector, and then this the output of the first encoder, you are going to give it to this one, and then this is what you are doing, what you are trying to do, encoder, decoder, attention, okay, this is you are summing up or doing any of the computation activity and doing it first encoder output, okay, you have to give it. This helps the decoder to focus on the appropriate order and also the input parts of the sentence. So for the final computation here, you are using a softmax layer which assigns like a probability for each of the word, which vocabulary, which word has to be spelled first, which word has to be next, then the next. If it is a speech processing, then which one has to be spelled. If it is a sequence processing, then which text has to be given first, that one. So you assign, this softmax basically assigns probability value for each vocabulary. So but one thing what we need to remember is that the probability values of all these vocabulary values is equal to summation of this one. So summation of all these probabilities is equal to 1. So the performance of a transformer is basically based on how much data is trained actually onto this particular transformer. So I'm maybe like the basic architecture is being covered here. Okay, I have gone through the basic architecture and all. Yeah, if you're having any questions, please